claws or from his grasp. Twisted Fate and Nunu are definitely going to be priority ones. Nunu was, mostly banned the entirety of last weekend. I think the one game he played, he actually won. And it does actually look it's been banned out again.
Good call. Shen, Evelyn, Jarvan the fourth going to be taken away here. And very heavily towards Diamond there as well, who's shown he's a bit of a terror with that Eve in the jungle. Not to mention his Jarvan 4 as well. On the other side, Nunu, Thresh, Twisted Fate, pretty much as we expected, but they've left that Jace open. Yeah, and it does look like it's going to be instantly locked in. And Jace, the one game that was allowed to go through a dream hack, was in Froggen's hands, and it destroyed Fnatic as well. Shock blast after shock blast after shock blast. So I think this is something that they're talking about. If they're not considering Jace, it's something else that they've been practicing that they maybe go, well, we want this in our composition. But that was a very, very quick selection there from Wicked. Yeah, seemed like they had that in the plan if it would have got through there. Well, let's see what Gambit do decide to go with here. That Jace locked in. Yeah, Elise as well, which is a champion which Darian has done well with in the past. I'm assuming that Spontex can play Elise well as well. Yeah, it's definitely one that you would have to play if you're in the top lane in this current meta. It's one of the most popular champions. Had it been Darian, I would definitely jump straight to that as my first initial pick. But we'll have to see if that's going to end up in his hands. Xin Zhao, I still feel, is going to be a jungler, most likely for Diamond procs. And depending on how that goes, we'll see what Evil Geniuses decide to lock in. They were hovering on Kate and Twitch, which tells me they've probably been practicing with either. And they're sort of going, well, what comp do we want? What's going to fit our playstyle a little bit more? Caitlyn's particularly good because she can just stay out of range of Elise. Can stay far enough back and be on the absolute outskirts of Repel. And if you have to use that Repel to get super, super deep, you're more hesitant to do so. Yeah. Can't get back quite as easily. That's a very key point. Malphite coming out here as well, so we'll be expecting that to go into the hands of Wicked. And Malphite's been a really, really popular pick so far. Going both ways as well. Not got the best win rate around, but we know if a good unstoppable force comes in at the right time, it can totally change a team fight. And we've seen the Malphite and Orianna combo from Fnatic earlier. Yeah. The combos didn't quite land. And I think it's interesting to see Malphite coming back into competitive play now, and the reason I say that, all of the teams are getting so much stronger and so much smarter and are able to split and control their positioning that a 3, 4, 5-man unstoppable force is now actually becoming more of a rarity. It doesn't happen every single time. That was completely unexpected. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a top lane Mundo or jungle Mundo. It should be jungle Mundo. It should be. But it could also be Spontex in the top lane running Mundo. Yeah, I'm inclined to say Diamond with that Mundo coming in there. We'll have to see, though. Who knows? We are, of course, on 3.8. If you just joined us and you didn't catch that one earlier on. Right now, Evil Geniuses on their last 2 picks. A Janna looking like it may come out for Crepo. And, of course, then you'd expect, a jungler to come in here as well for EG. That Malphite we're thinking will be with Wicked in the top lane. So we'll see how this works. There's a lot of poke from Evil Geniuses right now. So they've got the Malphite for the top lane. They could put it in the jungle, give that to Snoopy, and maybe put something like a Rumble or something in the top lane. Instead, if they are going to go with Nasus, it's going to be more for that very, very tanky, beefy front line. It's a very good initiation combo. You can have Nasus just running in their Malphite, knocking people up. But they're going to be very reliant on poke, very reliant on Caitlyn and Jace to do work before they actually commit to a fight. For Gambit, on the other hand, they've got Elise that dives in. They've got Rumble, Dr. Mundo that runs in. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe even an Orianna, because that can work very well with both of them, and we know how good Alex's Orianna is. Yeah. Or maybe could even go the assassin route. You could go for a Kha'Zix or so. No. To be fair, though, I'm not surprised that you didn't get that one. Didn't expect a Quinn to be coming out, to be honest with you. That really is a bit of a curveball coming in there. No, Darker was sat on Teemo for a while. Quinn, we've seen her a little bit more, but it's not exactly a common pick these days. So Quinn and Valor, okay, one of the newest additions to the league. For those that don't know, pretty much AD carry in human form. If she goes into Valor form, which is her ultimate, is a timed ultimate, she switches into a giant bird and pecks your eyeballs out. Not particularly popular because she tends to fill the split push role. So if it has been given to Spontex, what this actually means is they're going to say, look, Spontex, you go fly away in the top lane, do your thing, and we'll stick together as a 4-man unit. You've got a lot of regeneration, survivability from Mundo. You've got escapability from Elise. You have initiation and counter-initiation from Varus and Sona. It's actually quite a good 4/1-man team.
but I had no idea that was coming, and I have no idea how it's going to work against Malphite.
No. First time that we've seen her here in the summer split. We didn't see her in the spring split either, but that's pretty much because she wasn't there for most of it.
Once in NA. I'm going to go out on a limb and say in the second to last week of NA, she was run mid, and I can't recall who did it. I cannot recall. It might have been Mandatory Cloud, because I think in my head I was making jokes about a cloud and the bird, and it was just puns waiting to happen.
And they were all terrible, no doubt.
They were, yes. But I know for a fact we did see her once in NA. But other than that, you're right. This is a summer split debut for Quinn and Valor.
Very, very good. Interested to see how this one all works out. And, of course, it will be Spontex playing her, the man who's standing in this week only for Gambit and for Darian, of course, who was unfortunately a little bit under the weather this weekend, so couldn't make the trip from Russia. And, as I said, a little bit sad for Gambit in a way because, you know, they're on a roll right now.
Well, we'll see whether or not the bird of Quinn is going to be able to keep them flying high at the top of the table, because it's a completely different pick. Obviously, being mostly attack damage based, being closer to an AD carry and, you know, like a needly type of split pusher in the top lane, Malphite should have a relatively easy time dealing with her. Once he gets some more armor up, once he gets some more HP, there's not going to be much kill potential from Quinn onto Malphite. However, if Spontex's Quinn gets, you know, harassed down a little low, a good unstoppable force combo could actually pop her in her spot.
Well, we're going to find out right now. Evil Genius has sat with 3 men in the top river bush here. Alex Itch actually watching from the tri-bush, so he should get vision of them as soon as they start to come close.
What is also telling you now is lane swaps coming in here. So from the look of things, it does look like Quinn is going to be going in the mid lane. That is Spontex, which means he's probably going to be facing off against Froggen's Jace. That'll be a much more even pairing. They both have ranged poke, even though Jace outranges Quinn. And we'll see whoever gets that early damage down should be able to help win that lane out relatively well. Always remember that Malphite, being played by Wicked, does have teleport. So those teleport ganks are going to be very, very crucial in the mid game.
Who's there?
Not annoying whatsoever, them birds. But yeah, really interested to see how Spontex can pull this one off. As I said, not like we see Quinn every single day of the week here, so making that summer split debut. Right now, Alex Itch still hanging around by that tri-bush at top, and EG are still waiting in there as well. And Alex Itch is going to walk straight into him, uses his flash straight away. And Evil Genius, I'm not sure that they'll be able to really catch up to him on this one, but they're going to try.
No, they're definitely going to try. The Shock Blast goes out. They're just going to steal the red buff away. Now, Alex playing Elise, which would be the mid laner. I believe Peke was the first one to do it in the summer split, running Elise mid. He built Spell Vamp on her, that Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, and did so incredibly well as the game went on. Spontex is low too.
Spontex getting ignited on there by Froggen, using that one very, very early on, probably just trying to force him out of the lane as fast as he possibly can here.
If Froggen hits level 2, he can switch to hammer form and slam the hammer down onto Spontex. So we've got to keep a very close eye on that one, because the burst potential is definitely in his favor as long as Spontex remains on low HP.
Well, right now, we've just seen a couple of wards put down. We saw Diamond actually taking away the red buff here from Evil Geniuses. So, despite the fact that they got in there on that top side of the jungle, Diamond getting the better of that one, because he's taken the Wraith camp as well.
So, the additional experience, Dr. Mundo, with his Burning Agony, you know, the flame on from his W, he'll be able to clear these camps very, very quickly. And of course, this is a slight change to the jungle. Remember, we're on 3.8, so if there's any jungler to be keeping our eyes on, it is Diamond Prox, to see what is he playing and why is he playing it. Clearpo's just doing a good job zoning out Alex, and she takes more damage than he was hoping, but still denying experience range and some gold from Alex.
Diamond there, just finishing off that creep camp, that one single lizard that was left in the red buff camp. If I can get my words out, a little bit earlier on, Snoopy obviously left that. And going on towards his golems there. In this mid lane, pretty even stuff early on, despite that very early trade. The Ignite's been swapped out between Spontex, and actually Spontex didn't use his Ignite, it was only Froggen that decided to put that Ignite down. See, in this 2v1 here, Genja and Darker up against Wicked, as Wicked is doing a good job here.
Yeah, so he's doing well to at least, you know, hold off the tower, prevent some of the damage down. There is a very big wave of up at the top for Alex to deal with, but Diamondprox is going to be there late, so he should miss a little bit more. You were talking about the HP in the mid lane. We do see 6% lifesteal runes on Spontex's Quinn, so he does have that, plus the additional HP from his Doran's Blade. Alex took a lot of damage though, and Diamond is thinking about setting something up, but it's not really kill potential just yet from these two.
That turret already very, very low, though. Down to below half as Diamond going to come in around the side, straight in on towards Yellow Pete. There is the repel as well. Good Howling Gale comes down. Krepo now at the front of all the damage here. Diamond has to be a little bit careful as he is going to get forced back away now by Yellow Pete. An interesting little exchange at the top. Meanwhile, in this mid lane, Spontex going to half HP as Snoopy ganks.
So Spontex does manage to get away with his life in the top lane. They forced the flash from Yellow Pete. Just as I was saying, I didn't think there was enough kill potential. If Alex had been a little quicker on the draw and had jumped onto Yellow Pete's Candy Panda, they may have been able to actually chase him down. But I didn't see the... Yellow Pete's Caitlyn. I didn't, however, see the 90 caliber net. So I think he probably could have used that for a distance breaker as well.
You're not the first person to have called Caitlyn Candy Panda. That has happened to, I think, all of us at some point in the past.
Wow.
Well, right now, Wicked actually a little bit out of position here. Darker just forcing him to take the long way around there by the Triboss. She's going to be staying safe. Burned through a lot of those pots, but did start with that Doran shield as well, so he's pretty healthy. It's
one of the best starting items on Malphite as well, because he scales off HP, he scales off armor. It just really fits his entire kit quite well. So doing the best that he can to CS and stay relevant, staying at least on par with Alexich's Elise. But for the time being, it's just lane swap city, and it's a very different lane swap to what we've actually been seeing. First purchase for Spontex is going to be that Vamp Scepter.
Vamp Scepter coming out for him there. The long sword plus the tier is what Froggen's gone for. Obviously wants to get that stacked up as fast as he possibly can, as Diamond is coming back in towards his top lane. There's still that ward there in the Tribush. That's not timed out just yet, so all that vision granted, and Diamond decides, well, I'm just going to walk away. They know I'm coming.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to actually gank a Janna lane because she's got the Howling Gale to knock you up, the Zephyr to slow you down, and her passive gives you increased movement speed. Without having Elise to repel on and without landing, 2 or 3 of those infected cleavers, the champions can effectively just walk away from you. So we'll wait to see what boots Diamondprox picks up. I wouldn't be surprised to see boots of mobility, maybe instead of boots of swiftness, instead of ganking, but we'll see what he decides to go for.
He'll be backing off there, no doubt, soon. You see Yellow Pete trying to keep Alexich completely zoned away from the CS here. Had a fair amount back onto his turret, so we are going to see Spontex here getting withered in that middle lane, but do they have the damage here to finish him off? Diamond coming around the side, Spontex having to flash away from this one, and job done for EG. They've burnt the flash, and that's going to make it easier to get onto Spontex in the future.
Yeah, his flash and his ultimate as well. It's a pretty lengthy cooldown, 2.5 minutes, give or take, at level 1. So the reason that's very important, if he gets into a duel with Jace, going into Valor form, the tag team mode, gives him so much more attack speed, so much more damage, and an executability. When he switches from Valor back to Quinn, look at the bottom lane.
Wow, they're going in on towards Genji there, Wicked. Unstoppable force used. Then he's like, you know what, I'm just going to recall now. I've pushed that lane out, done what I wanted to do. I think he expected to get him underneath the tower there and didn't quite have him.
Yeah, I think I'm done. I had no idea that was coming. Mentally, I'm just all over the place right now. But yeah, once Valor goes from the bird form to the human form, deals damage based on missing health. So it's a great execution ability in 1v1. I also thought that there was going to be a top lane Quinn and Valor for the split push power, which is not the case. They're actually going toe-to-toe with Jace. Probably not to face off against Malphite. And with the quick pause, it is because we do have a FPS drop on Froggen's PC. So you can see them having a look at that right now. We should hopefully get results soon.
Yeah, Advin's there behind Froggen, just helping him get things sorted. So we want best conditions possible here for all the players. If we compare some of the CS, I think that's probably a good time for it, just to have a bit of an overview talk on the game while we got this time. 51 to 62 is what Jace has right now over Quinn in that mid lane. Been a lot of pressure in there though, so you can kind of expect that to have happened. The solo laners obviously that are in 2v1s right now, Elise with 12 CS and Wicked's Malphite with 18.
I would actually have expected Elise to have higher numbers than that. having the ranged ability, the ability to farm with the volatile spiderling, and the ability to go into spider form, which costs no mana when you use your abilities, I would have thought the numbers would have been higher, but we've also seen more ganks in the top lane. Diamondprox has been up there. One successful gank. He showed his face, I think, 2 more times. So there's a little bit more pressure on Candy Panda's Yellow Pete and Crepo in the top lane to be a little bit more defensive, realizing that Dr. Mundo's running around.
So right now we have one of the IT experts up there on stage. I can tell by his shirt. I saw him earlier on, if you're wondering. But yeah, he's hopefully going to get Froggen sorted out here in just a second. And apparently no one else is having the same problem that Froggen seems to have found out here. So we should be getting things back underway shortly. Apparently they are, in fact, going to be replacing his entire PC.
So luckily we have got a pretty crack team at this. So it's just a literal matter of unplugging it and plugging a new one back in. It shouldn't take too much longer. Then we can get underway. Remind me if I'm wrong, this is the last game of the day, right, Joe?
Yes.
Yeah.
it is the final game of the day. Sadly, because, 4 games a day just doesn't feel like enough for me.
We've gotten so used to having more games per day in weeks 1 and 2. This is like, well, we're just getting into it.
Yeah.
Also, it would be an Evil Geniuses game where we need to replace a PC and have a pause, right?
Obviously. Froggen, well,
he DDoSed his own PC.
Who else could it possibly be in that lineup? But that will be replaced out here swiftly, and now we can get things back underway. Of course, next week, talking about the amount of games, it's going to be a longer week, so that's certainly one that you don't want to miss. But we're here tomorrow as well for another 4 matches. Every single weekend. That's how we like to do it. Yeah,
and it just gets better and better and better. We talked about it briefly earlier, and of course, Tenerife is going to be coming up in the middle of July, which is going to be awesome.
Warm.
3 days of 4 games apiece, I believe, as well as the regional tournament for the challenges.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, the winning team of that, or the winning 2 teams, will then take place in Gamescom for the wildcard event, if I recall correctly.
You're making funny eyes at me.
I'm double checking. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was a lengthy news post, and I'm trying to dig through my.
No, you're right and all that. I was just not giving you a nod. Just, I like that eyes thing.
No
that
false,
no
false sense of security.
But yeah, Tenerife, that's going to be great. I mean, DreamHack, the crowd was amazing. Moscow, fantastic. It's nice to to go to these places and really let the local League of Legends community see some of their heroes in action.
The live audiences are absolutely amazing. Yeah. We were in the MDM Palace in Moscow, and that was, I think, a 1,600 capacity venue. Dare I say it, there were times they were screaming louder than the DreamHack audience. And it was purely for the local heroes. Purely for the local heroes. And don't get me wrong, DreamHack was hell of a loud. That was a very loud crowd. I ended up losing my voice on the Sunday because I was yelling over them. And it was a fantastic event.
Yeah, and I can't forget the lovely people that have turned up here in Cologne as well.
Of course.
Much smaller audience, but very, very cool.
Almost as loud as well.
Yes.
We hear them through the walls. I'm sure everybody does as well.
Through actual walls, that's how loud they are. But if you're just joining us, of course, we are just waiting here for a new machine for Froggen. Not sure how he managed to break it, but he seems to have managed it at least. So that's going to be swapped out here, and we shall be getting things back underway. You've not missed a terrible amount, actually. No first blood, no towers down, gold pretty much even.
To be fair, Quinn and Dr. Mundo were logged in.
True.
So locked in. So I think that is a pretty epic chain of events. And for the time being, Spontex behind in CS, not really blowing my mind with Quinn at the moment. But then again, nothing's happened.
There's definitely time. We're 7 minutes and 40 only into the game, so not really that much time actually be gone here. So yeah, really a strong start, I think we can say, when it comes to the farm for Evil Geniuses here. That 200 gold here that they've got is purely from the advantages that they've got with the farm.
Yeah, one of the things that we have seen as well, they've handled their lanes a little bit better. Diamondprox has tried to gank. He's tried to show his presence in the top lane. It worked once. He burned a flash. Tried a second time, tried a third time. Hasn't really had much presence. The first time that Snoopy was able to move himself into the mid lane, it forced the ultimate and a flash out of Spontex. So a little bit more successful. We do see Froggen on screen. So in theory, he may be configuring his hardware and settings and just getting used to the new PC. So hopefully that is the case, and then we can be underway again with the final game of the day.
Well, he's put his headphones on, which is definitely a good sign for us. We see Genja, of course, got himself a new support these days. Alexic in the middle, looking a little bit tired, and we talked about this a lot, that the Gambit traveling schedule is actually really, really strenuous. Every single week they have to fly in and out back to Russia, which it's not quite as bad as it was when they had Edward in the team. We had to fly to Omsk, which is miles and miles and miles away from here, but
it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to complain. It's such a tough life to have to fly into Cologne each and every week, but it is incredibly taxing on you.
Yeah.
The entire process, packing, unpacking, moving, leaving, flights, taxis, buses, hotels, it really wears you down. We were on the road for 2 weeks in 2 different countries, and I think every single member of the cast, crew, production, and teams were just shattered by the end of it. So really have to give props to Gambit for doing this for their profession, for their full-time job.
For their job. And they're doing pretty well at it as well.
I would say, I believe they're now first in the league because they've beaten Alternate, which would imply if they're tied on wins and losses, they're actually a position ahead.
And they may pick up another win here with this one. We'll have to see about that one. Still very early stages of this one. So Alternate right now are 7 for 2. Gambit are 6 for 2. So a win here would put them top.
There we go. There we go. I had half the info in my head. They needed to win first.
Needed to win, which we'll find out here in the next few minutes if they can do that one. We are going to get back into game. Froggen got himself a new PC, all sorted, and we are back in. Now we've just seen Wicked teleport into the bottom lane.
As we teleport into the game, 7 minutes 50 on the clock, Gambit are starting yet another early dragon. This is something I think they do better than any team in the European LCS, knowing when they can get the dragon and how early they can do it. That's for free and uncontested.
Yeah, burning a lot of health there. Diamond actually having to use his ultimate, but you'll take that any day of the week to pick yourself up a dragon, and that will push Gambit into the gold lead. Now, this game, of course, we could be in for a long one. The good old game of Moscow 5 versus CLG EU, of course, is the one that really comes to mind when you think about these two teams, which I think was a 70-minute game by the end of it, with about 4,000 Barons being taken in the course of that one. So if that game is anything to go by, we should definitely be in for a treat here as well.
I'm definitely hoping it does go that route, because it's always amazing to watch. Briefly touching on the Diamondprox ultimate for Dr. Mundo, it's only on a minute cooldown at the moment, so it's actually something that is very, very short and will just get thrown out. Oh, I might be in trouble, pop it on, get the movement speed, get the regen, and just get the hell out of dodge.
So let's have a look down some of the items coming out now that they've had another trip back home to shop up. Actually, the tier coming out here for Genja's Varus, and on the other side, BF Sword picked up for Yellow P.
So this is something that we've seen Genja doing on Ashe as well as Varus. I know that in solo queue he does this relatively often as well. And it sort of fits into Genja's playstyle. He's not an in-your-face AD carry like, I'm going to say Creatine. Creatine likes to get in the thick of a fight, likes to be diving around right up in there. On the other hand, Genja likes to hang a little bit more back, use the bullet time from Misfortune, use piercing arrows from Varus over and over, and if you can just continually spam and be a caster AD, that item is perfect for you.
Right now, this middle lane not getting any easier for Spontex. Was before these couple of creeps 10 CS behind, actually. We have been forced out of lane, of course, forced to use ultimate and Flash's Snoopy gang. Diamond actually coming in here towards that mid lane as well, just to offer a little bit of support and carry on his merry way. And
for anybody that doesn't know Quinn, that little effect that you just seen there on screen is her W spell. Basically, it reveals area, a great area around you, just gives you vision. It literally guarantees you cannot face check a bush. It's on a minute cooldown, and if you're ever afraid of walking into a bush, just press W. It'll give you vision, you know what's there.
And for me help, useful in that mid lane to see if any Snoopies are hiding in the bushes to come and get you. But up until now, still have no first blood. Snoopy is waiting in the bush here, and Crepo's going to come in. So it looks like they want to try and take this mid turret as fast as possible.
And this will definitely be a very quick tower taking team. Jace is going to be able to have that additional attack speed from his W. You add the attack damage shield from Janna's E, and of course the fact that Nasus can use that Withering Strike on you, just his Q, the Recycling Strike, to chunk down towers. You've seen how quickly that was dropped.
Yeah, Gambit themselves may look to get a tower back here. That bottom outer turret for EG is very, very low already. And Genja and Darker are pushing up that lane pretty quickly. So we'll see if Yellow Pete is actually able to hold on to this one. Obviously, doesn't want to be losing any CS, but might have to clear out a little bit faster here if he's wanted to save that tower.
Yeah, I think that tower's pretty much going to be a goner. They managed to get it down to, what, 100 or so HP. Genja deciding not to actually land that last auto attack. Just extend himself, give an extra wave or two worth of minions to farm up. Overall, it's just Evil Geniuses with a tower advantage, but it doesn't display in gold because Gambit have that dragon advantage. Remember, they picked that up around 7 or 8 minutes. They'll be up again at about the 14-minute mark.
Yeah, I think 7.5 minutes was pretty much the timing that they had down on that one. An early one, which we've come to expect out of Diamond when he does get into these, gets these champions that can go for those early dragons, the Nasuses, the Mundos, and the Shyvanas. We used to see him doing that very early as well when he played Shyvana. Right now, they are pushing onto that middle outer turret themselves, and Spontex is going to do a fair amount of damage to it.
Yeah, Spontex is actually chunking that away quite quickly. He's busy sitting on that Bilgewater Cutlass as well as an Avarice Blade. So I'm very interested to see where this Avarice Blade gets built into. I would expect it to be a static shiv, which benefits with the movement, with dancing around. You can charge it up very, very quickly. So we'll see how that pans out. Ace in the hole by Yellow Pete used onto Alex. It's just to, put some pressure down, keep them on the back foot, and allow them to maybe actually pick this tower up if nobody's there to defend. And I don't think Alex can save this one.
No, this one's going down here. Evil Genius is going to go 2-0 up in turrets. Wicked is now back down in that bottom lane to stop that turret from being taken out as long as he possibly can. And the AD carry support for Gambit looking like they're going to be headed into this top lane to try and push that one back.
So at the moment, it just seems as though whenever you pick a Caitlyn on your team, you immediately signal, I want towers and I want towers quickly. And it's exactly what Evil Geniuses have done. They've moved their champions around the map to try and get the map presence and deny the vision from Gambit as much as possible. What it also means, they can exploit weaknesses from a team with a substitute. If Spontex is farming a top or a middle lane, and the rest of Gambit on with him, or if they're somewhere else and he's not on the same page, it's much easier for Evil Geniuses to take advantage of that misposition when those towers are down.
Just saw that Alex H been given his blue buff. That will allow him to be spamming a lot more and getting that farm up. He's currently 23 CS behind, or so, as that just changes as I say it, behind Wicked's Malphite there as well, as we are going to see Snoopy possibly chased down. No, Gambit decided not to follow through since Froggen was there at the back as well. I
also really like Darker's crescendos. You notice him putting a little bit of pressure there onto Snoopy, scaring him away, and it was something that stood out in Moscow, his 2- and 3-man crescendos that he was landing crucially on the right targets at the right time in team fights. So we'll see if he can do the same against a Malphite and a Nasus who will be in your face and attacking. So Dragon has respawned. Teleport's coming in from Wicked. Diamond Prox has picked the fight, and Spontex has flashed over.
Actually flashing over there, gets knocked away by Froggen, who somehow manages to pick up first blood just before he dies there in the end as well. Now, we have a 4-on-4 around Dragon. Wasn't, of course, taken as Gambit peeled away from it to start that fight off. Let's see if they actually stick around and are able to pick it up.
Chain of Corruption is available for Genja, but Diamond Prox does not have Dr. Mono's ultimate. Repel comes in, and there goes Alex.
Unstoppable Force is, of course, down there as the Crescendo manages to land on 4 of them. Can they clean up? Crepo going to go down here to Alex Ich. Yellow Pete gets slowed down. He's forced to flash away. They're going to keep chasing as Alex flashes in there. Cocoon does land onto Wicked. There's a snipe from Genja to finish off the kill. Wicked just about walks away with his life.
Absolutely fantastic there. Yellow Pete survived a couple seconds longer by flashing away from that infected cleaver, or the infected briefcase as it is on this skin, but manages to get to safety. A brilliant fight from Gambit, and exactly like we pointed out, Darker's crescendos are so clutch and are so crucial. Snoopy is sniffing around. He's been jumped on by Alex.
Yeah, but look at the damage coming out there. Froggen was already back in for the fight. They managed to take down Alex, but Gambit did secure the Dragon. That puts them in the lead in gold, but it's still very, very close here, around about 300 only.
That's a trade they'll be very, very happy with. Not only did they get 3 kills from the engagement in total, they got the Dragon, and they only lost 1 member. It was Alex at the end of the day. That was a 1v1 between Spontex and Froggen, which was even. Neither champion technically won it because they both died in the process. So we'll definitely have to see how this works out in the later stages of the game. Spontex has picked up his boots of swiftness again. For anyone that has seen photos of Spontex, his physical, real-life shoes look like boots of swiftness.
They actually do. And I'm not sure if it makes him faster at running, though. Or, you know, take 20% less from slows when he gets slowed in real life. As Froggen is going to be picking himself up the blue buff there as well. Starting to hurt now, Man Immune, I can get it out in a second, and the Brutalizer already completed in for him, so starting to do a lot more damage and bring a lot more pain with that Shock Blast.
I definitely want to see how Evil Geniuses play the rest of these team fights, because you've got these very, very obvious engagement tools from Wicked and from Nasus, from Wicked on Malphite and from Snoopy on Nasus, just running at you with your Ghost up, put the Wither down and stick in your face. But it's an extremely mobile Gambit team, so Wicked's unstoppable forces are going to be very difficult to knock up everybody. Alex is caught a little bit out of position, gets a very good cocoon down, but EG aren't finished.
Oh, he actually gets knocked up there by the Howling Gale. He's going to have to repel as Diamond coming in from the side. The entire team's coming across here. They're going to try and focus on Froggen as a crescendo. Will lock both Froggen and Snoopy up. Are they going to be done with this one? Wicked coming in from the side. Another strong Howling Gale from Crepo, but getting away from a team like this is not easy. The cocoon lands onto Wicked, uses unstoppable force to get across the side. There's a Monsoon from Crepo. They're still chasing though. Diamond trying to get around the side, lands a briefcase onto Crepo. Can they keep going? There's a repel from Alex Ich. Still not quite enough damage to get the kill. Crepo is still walking away, and EG somehow only lose 1 man from that fight. Crazy.
Somebody needs to give Crepo a noddy badge, because he got the Eye of the Storm onto Wicked's Malphite as the auto attack was flying through the air from Spontex. It was the auto attack that was about to kill Wicked, and it survived them. Yellow's been caught.
Oh, there is the barrier being pulled out though, and Yellow Pete calling Genja's bluff a little bit there under the turret.
Did have to burn his barrier, but manages to survive with his life. And I think Genja, he may have overestimated the damage he could deal.
I think so as well. He thought he was stronger than he was.
His piercing arrow also missed as well, to be fair. So that damage, which is currently at max rank on piercing arrow, plus the blight stacks, which would have popped, maybe would have killed him, but I don't know if it would have gone through the barrier. Nevertheless, they survive, and they trade a couple of abilities for a couple of abilities.
Straight in there for that one right now. Froggen has almost got that last Whisper added in, which pretty much gives him those, 3 items that are going to give that amazing damage that you get from the Shock Blast through the acceleration gate.
And there's practically no armor on the side of Gambit right now. If you look down the list, the only person that's really got, additional armor is Diamond Prox's Dr. Mundo. Spontex running set, and that's it. 50% of his HP from a single accelerated Shock Blast combo.
Diamond actually popping his ulti there, coming back around the side. Saying, what up? I'm Mundo, and I'm here to tank all the damages.
Mundo goes where he pleases, Joe. So
certainly does. No one can stop him. Well,
we'll see.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see about that one.
We'll see if that rings true in a few minutes here once we get in towards this next fight. Currently, EG pushing up that middle lane, deciding not to go any further through. So we can have a look down some of the items. Infinity Edge is finished now for Caitlyn. On the other side, Bloodthirster and that tier, which must be nicely stacked up already here for Genja's Varus. We did see Blade of the Ruin King being finished off as well for Spontex's Quinn.
So Blade of the Ruin King it works perfectly with Quinn, obviously gives you a lot of the percentage HP damage, which will work brilliantly against both Malphite and Nasus. I'm more interested in what comes next. I want to see what this Avarice Blade goes into. Genja is thinking about round 2 with Yellow Pete. He's caught him, and there's the fight.
Gonna go for him this time around, and this time he's actually winning out on this one. Yellow Pete tries to get away, does flash, but Genja flashes straight in after him, and he says, now I can fight you.
Yeah, they used all their abilities. Wicked's been caught by Alex.
Gonna be jumped on here, but does Alex have the damage to finish off that big tanky Malphite? Spontex is gonna get nailed, was knocked up with the Howling Gale in the process as well, and that was a 2 versus 1 in the middle lane, which he was never gonna win.
It was an interesting one as well because he changed into, tag team with Valor, and when you use Volt, the E spell for her, in human form, it'll jump to a target, then push you away and slow them down. But in bird form, it just launches the attack at the spot. So he sort of dove forward even though he was dead. I think basically he gave up to the fact that he was going to die. So 1-2-1, he's 20 CS now behind Froggen's Jace. Not doing quite as well as I think he would have hoped. But if the game continues going to this point, if he carries on building some more items, it's going to have effectively 2 ADCs on the side of Gambit, which will play into their favor.
Yeah, which, although Froggen won't be too far away from that himself, obviously now got that Last Whisper finish, got the Muramana in there as well. Wicked himself got that, I forgot the name of it. That's great, isn't it?
Sunfire Cave.
Yeah, Sunfire Cave. It's all right. I've only been commentating about that item for 2 seasons now here in League of Legends.
You always forget the Sunfire Cave.
I always somehow forget Sunfire Cave's name. It's a strange one.
Well, talking about Sunfire Cave first, we've seen Malphites that go Haunting Guys, then Abyssal Scepter, go that ability power route. The one thing Evil Geniuses is lacking is significant ability power damage. They don't have a very AP-heavy side. So once the members of Gambit do actually start stacking up some armor, they may be able to out-survive, out-sustain the damage of their opponents. And I'm trying to remember, I think Ninjas in Pajamas had that problem against Lemon Dogs, if I recall correctly. They had a very AD-heavy team, and they just simply couldn't get through the Lemon Dogs' mass stack of armor.
Right now, Evil Genius is actually pushing up on towards that inner turret in the top lane. Alex is there to defend, but needs to be a little bit careful here as Froggen is actually going to go in on towards Diamond. There's the Unstoppable Force. They get Genja, but EG didn't follow it up there. They left Wicked alone, and he's had to flash away from that one. And now it looks like Gambit might want to try and keep up with him. Those briefcases make it very, very hard to shake. And Spontex is going to be headed in there as well. Alex was hanging around. There is another miss ultimate from Genja as well. And this is a very messy affair. Crescendo goes through, and now Gambit run away, and EG start chasing Gambit back from this one. Ace in the hole gonna come through, nicely blocked by Genja. EG, are they gonna keep going for this one? They've turned around once again, but Froggen dives in, gets himself a kill. Monsoon will knock them all back, and that will be a strange 2-0 for EG.
That was a very sloppy fight from everybody. EG initially thought they wanted to go, then the call was no, no, no. They backed away, and Gambit said, we can fight, we can fight. Gambit dove in, but they weren't stacking onto the right target properly, and basically everybody sort of whiffed really what they needed to do. Darker got a very good crescendo. He actually locked up Snoopy and Yellow Pete, but Froggen was off to the side, continuing shooting shock blasts over and over and over. And exactly like you said, it was a messy affair. It was sloppy from both sides, and basically because neither team had a great initiation or counter-initiation, it just ended in those 2 deaths for Gambit's trying to escape.
Well, it seems like Froggen's broke his PC again, so hopefully that's going to be sorted out here. Obviously, we don't want the players playing when they're not got the ideal conditions. And we do have our admins in there behind them, so that one should be getting sorted up. So gives us a bit of time here to look at this very, very close game. 5-5 in kills. Gold is literally 100 difference between the two.
That's one ward.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the difference between these two teams right now. The one thing that does play into EG's favor, they have 3 towers to the 1 of Gambit. So in terms of map presence and map control, the previous fight just happened because they're able to go so deep. Because they're able to push so far into Gambit's territory, they're able to stay in control of things.
Well, you can see our IT specialist in there behind Froggen, just having a word with him about what the problem is. It seems to be when he was in that last team fight, of course, and that's the time when you really need to be able to rely on your hardware to get things through. So hopefully that will get done and dusted, and we can get back underway here in just a few moments. What would it be if it was an EG versus Gambit game without pauses, everyone?
What would it be if it wasn't an EG game without pauses? That's the real question. They're doing well in this game, though. You know, they are playing against Gambit. That does have a substitute, so that does need to be remembered, and you got to keep that in mind. But positionally, they've been pretty good for the most part. The call to back off once that fight didn't go their way was correct. And once they realized Gambit chased too far, they re-engaged correctly. So as far as the flow of the game is going, Evil Geniuses obviously look to be in a better position teamwork-wise.
Now we can see Gambit on your screens looking pretty relaxed about the whole situation here. Not much phases the Russians, to be honest.
I think everybody that's sitting on the stage right now is used to a situation where they've had to delay a game at this point in time. It's unfortunate but true, and it's just a matter of finding out exactly what the tech issue is. We are hearing from production that they've got a couple extra techies down there having a look at the problem, having a look at the PC, and just trying to find the best decision possible for everybody. So the players at the moment seem to think they are going to give this game a bash again, and we'll see if this fix works right now. I'm remaining hopeful. I'm remaining hopeful.
I'm hopeful about this one as well. I'm with you on this one, Trevor. Hopefully it should be pretty much fixed. We're going to go with that and just, we're hoping for the best. Let's put it that way.
You can say that. You can say it's fixed. As Joe Miller, 2K13.
Yeah, all fixed now, apparently, hopefully. So, back into things we go then. Froggen there, running off down the middle lane. So he seems to be in a happier place right now.
Yeah, he's playing the game to a different tune, I imagine. And we'll see if he can find the right note to actually win more team fights.
We've just seen there Spontex actually taking down the outer turret on the top lane, which means that Gambit now back up to 2 turrets to their name, to the 3 of Evil Geniuses, and that puts them back into the gold lead. Dragon, I can't even remember when it was taken down. 22 minutes, if I recall correctly, was there or thereabouts.
21:56 on the dot. Not
Pretty
that I'm
close.
looking at the logs at all. So that will be up very, very soon in the next couple of minutes. You can see there's a couple of wards down in and around the Dragon Pit already for the members of Gambit. Those are actually about to time out, which tells you they'll be refreshing those and setting themselves up for the next Dragon. Gambit, of course, one of the most prolific Dragon-taking teams in the game. Alex was thinking of going onto Yellow Pete before he stepped himself on a Yordle snap trap and gave away his position.
Yeah, not quite being the sneaky man that he was trying to be there in that scenario. They are going to see pink wards put down by Darker. And he's going to be clearing that out. Actually, Crepo does have an Oracle's Elixir on right now. That was bought a little while ago. And he's already done a good job of cleaning things up. And it looks like they're going to actually try and get in here on towards Alex. It's a Shock Blast missing, the Cocoon missing as well, though. And they're going to go right in on top of him. There comes the Howling Gale. You saw the Repel already used, but you're not getting anywhere, Alex. Froggen is going to take him down.
No, it's going to be nearly impossible to get away once you see Jace go into hammer form, get that slowdown on you, as well as the Zephyr from Janna. Right now, though, the 4 members of Gambit have stacked up in the Baron Pit. They started this one. It is going relatively low, 4,000 HP on the board. You see Quinn's tag team is actually timed out, so back into human form. They're backing off, and there goes Wicked.
Unstoppable Force coming in, and look at the ultimates being burnt on just these 2-man team coming in. Yellow Pete going to get hit by the Chain of Corruption, but EG are going to keep chasing off for this one. Acing the hole comes through, and it's Wicked that actually picks that one up. That leaves us in a 5-on-3, not 5-on-4. And obviously Alex was still dead from the bottom. EG decided not to go for Baron there. They want to get that middle inner turret.
Yeah, they were thinking about Baron, but at this point in time, they realized that Alex was probably going to be up very quickly, and they don't want to do the Baron dance with the range and the poke of a Tear of the Goddess Varus. He'd be able to shoot those piercing arrows over and over and over. So, wisely, they decide to back off, pick themselves up the tower, and they don't repeat the mistakes that we've seen earlier in the day. Where you can, pick up a Baron but lose 3 in the process, and it's all for naught if that's what happens.
Exactly. And that actually send EG back home. Aegis being brought up here by Snoopy. He is pretty far behind Diamond. If you look at the items that he's picking up, he's pretty much going the same route as him. He's just getting there a lot slower.
That's basically just because of the presence. I mean, 30 CS on the board. It's a big number. He does have half the assists. I want to see exactly what Snoopy decides to build, because he's sitting 1,000 gold behind right now. And there's a lot of options you can go with that Nasus. It's difficult to prioritize because it's a lot of physical damage from Quinn and from Varus, but then a lot of magic damage that over time Mondo's going to deal to you, and the burst that Elise is going to deal to you. So maybe something along the lines of a Locker of the Iron Solaria might be a good idea.
Maybe coming in at some point here for them. See, we do have that Frozen Heart in there as well for Wicked now, as we expected him to be going up to. And we already saw in that fight that, you know, Unstoppable Force, even though he's not building any AP in there, still is not just an amazing crowd control ability in there as well to knock everyone up, but it still does a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, the base number is relatively good as well. At level 2, it's a 300 base before adding your AP. And when you add that onto targets that not only have very little armor, they've actually got even less magic resist across the board, it does hit pretty hard. If you're not in range of Diamond Procs, well, he's just been caught out.
He's been caught out here, but can they lock him down? Actually, he's going to get hammered away. There is Yellow Pete from the side. Froggen actually gets the kill, and that will be in perfect timing for the Dragon here that spawned just a few moments ago. EG going to be taking that one away for free. Froggen is now 6-2-2.
And it's a problem of giving Jace away. We've seen Jace, you know, permanently banned practically during weeks 1 and 2. And the one game that Froggen did get hold of him, he did exactly the same thing to Fnatic. He used those shock blasts from range, and when he did commit, it was a guaranteed win because they were so low. And as you can see, he's running around with that Guardian Angel completed. So we'll most likely see him picking up a Black Cleaver and then into a Bloodthirster a little later down the line as well.
All right, now EG starting to mop up what was left of the outer bottom lane turret. Here's the Argon going on towards Alex. He's going to repel away here. Froggen now going to take a lot of damage, has to flash away. Greppo had flashed in and used his Monsoon. A bit of a lack of a communication, I think, there between the EG guys.
No, not on exactly the same page. I also think they expected more members of Gambit to dive forward. The fact that the Chain of Corruption had gone down signaled that Gambit maybe wanted to pick a fight. You've seen Spontex coming in from the side. He used that Vault just to get a slow, and actually got the flash out of Wicked as well. So keep that in mind for the next couple of minutes. Wicked was like, whoop, I don't really want to be here, and he flashed over the tree line.
Yeah. It's not exactly what EG will have wanted in the jungle of Gambit there. We're expecting to get away a lot easier than they actually did. All right, now Gambit pushed them straight back here on towards that outer mid turret, which is less than half HP. See there, a double buffed up Genja, just managing to land that piercing arrow on towards Snoopy, who, despite being pretty, having some decently tanky items in there, still takes a lot of damage from those arrows.
Yeah, at the moment, Snoopy, he's got a few extra statistics on board, but he's not as beefy as he really needs to be. He's still sitting on 2,300 HP only. It looks like Evil Geniuses want to pick a fight. They were grouping up together. But look at the piercing arrow there onto Yellow Pete. So every single time Genja manages to get a max range snipe, Yellow Pete is dropped very low, and he's got no lifesteal either. So he's got no sustain that he can pick up off these creeps. He's going to be very reliant on the shields from Janna and the heal from her ultimate.
You see Howling Gale going out, trying desperately to keep Gambit away from this middle outer turret. They know that they lose a lot if that ends up going down. And the fact is they've got both of Gambit's middle turrets right now, which means that they've got a big advantage in that respect.
One of the things that makes life a little bit more difficult for Gambit, Genja's trying to keep them at bay with those piercing arrows, which means that he's not close enough to actually hit the turret. So the turret has survived this is the 4th minion wave in a row now, thanks to the fact that they're trying to control EG as opposed to just making a concerted effort on the turret. Finally, there are people hitting it, but it's Alex. Elise should not be the one that's right-clicking that turret. It should be Quinn. It should be Varus.
Well, Spider's starting to force them away from this one. In the end, I think Diamond got bored of waiting around and decides to go in and tank it, but it needed just one more hit.
Yeah, one more hit. This wave might be the wave. Dark has gone in there. Diamond's gone in there. I think they're sort of going, come on, guys. The AD carries aren't doing this. We'll do the job for them. They do eventually pick up their 3rd tower of the game. Brings us within 2,000 gold of Evil Geniuses, which is basically the 2 extra towers that they've picked up. And Gambit haven't stopped the siege.
No, they seem to be pretty determined on pushing this one straight through here. Those waves not lasting very long. You can see at Yellow Pete, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Last Wisp, a very traditional build there for the Caitlyn, is starting to hit pretty heavy. Around about 350 damage those last auto attacks onto Diamond, so they need to be careful. That Kate, if you get out of position, will strip you down.
Now, one of the things that Kate is going to have to deal with when we eventually get into these later team fights is the blinding assault from Quinn. It's a 1.5-second blind, which if Froggen goes into hammer form and dives into a fight, will affect him as well. A lot of those right clicks, those auto attacks for that time frame will be blocked and negated. So that could be 1 or 2 auto attacks as this game goes on. And when somebody's got 300, 350 attack damage, that's a lot of AD that just gets missed thanks to being blinded by that ability.
Now, Black Cleaver now in there as well for Froggen. Can definitely afford it. 290 CS. Got 6 kills to his name with those 2 assists and 2 deaths as well. The problem is that we've got to a bit of a stalemate point in the game where both teams not confident in their ability here to actually engage. Evil Geniuses have got a healthy gold lead at 3,000, just a little bit less than, so now, they're technically in the lead in this game, but in typical EG style, I mean, that's not a bad thing as well. I mean, we always say that as a little bit of a joke here towards EG style, if you like, but it's a proven way that they can win games with.
Agreed, it's a testament to them. They realize that if they get to, 2 teams get to 6 item standards or stats or whatever, that they are able to win games at that time because their decision-making and positioning tends to be superior. One of the things that makes this particular game even more likely to go to this 50, 60, 70-minute mark is that they're so easy to read in terms of where the initiation comes from. If somebody gets caught by a cocoon, Gambit will jump on you. If Diamondprox runs at you, they're picking a fight. Similarly, if Snoopy's Nasus runs at you, they're going to pick a fight, or if Wicked decides to throw himself at you. But the likelihood of Wicked being the all-out aggressor in a strange position is slim to none. This, however, is a 2-man Baron, and that is getting destroyed very quickly.
Yeah, 3 men in middle, 2 men doing Baron, and it's going down. Easy stuff there for EG, and Gambit realizes as they see that buff icon popping up like, a 2-man Baron. That's unfortunate news for us, to say the least. Great pickup for EG, though.
Whoopsie is the best description of that. They didn't have the vision. Darker was actually moving to place wards down, if you recall correctly. Froggen scared him away with the Shock Blast combo and almost moved as though they were going for the red buff. That was what made Gambit back off. They thought, well, they're in our jungle. We're not willing to, face check the fog of war. And instead, they let it be. So the 2 members of EG pick up a very, very quick Baron. They just face tank the turret. They drop that even quicker with a Jason and Caitlyn, like you said, 2 AD carries effectively. That's dropped down. They steal blue buff, and now they're taking Dragon. This is just systematic control of the map.
Yeah, and we saw there Wicked's armor as he walks underneath the turret and literally takes no damage from it whatsoever. He's got a lot of armor right now as he picks up the Merc Treads as well.
Only 394, if I recall correctly. Let's pull it up. No, sorry. 255 armor. 255 armor on that Malphite.
I was going to say 400.
Yeah, 400 is a bit much.
That is a lot.
400 is a bit much.
That really is a lot of armor to come out with. But now he is a big, beefy tank as he picks up Giant's Belt number 2.
Yeah, he's so big at the moment. He needs 2 pairs of pants on Malphite's very slim waistline to contain all of those items. Look at it. There it is right now. But right now, EG extend that gold lead to 5,000 thanks to all of the objective control. They're finally in a position where if Wicked and Snoopy tower dive, as long as Froggen and Yellow Pete focus the right target with their auto attacks, they can kill them. But it's not a traditional tower dive team. So think back to DreamHack, where they did a tower dive. They had a Zac combo with Malphite, I think it might have even been. I can't recall who the dive buddies were. But they went under the turret. They had a very strong advantage, and they weren't afraid to dive.
I think it was Zach Sejuani.
Zach Sejuani, probably.
Yeah, with Zach on Wicked in that top lane.
Yeah.
Well, either way, that was then. This is now. And EG running that Baron buff on. Extending their lead to not too far off away, that 10,000 gold lead. And they are starting to siege up here in this top lane. And as I say, sieging, they're putting down a lot of damage there. And that's onto Diamond. That's the tanky man in this Gambit lineup.
They've got so much penetration that it's actually relatively easy for them to do it. Yeah. The Black Cleaver from Jace is going to shred whatever armor he does have. And then the last Wisp on Kate, that's just going to go through everything. Keep in mind, 1 Guardian Angel on the side of Evil Geniuses, 2 Guardian Angels on the side of Gambit. So this is going to be a 6 versus 7 team fight if it eventually breaks out. Yellow Pete is working himself towards a GA. Tower is still standing, lost a couple hundred hit points, but it's just poke versus poke. I mean, that's all this is. It's just range poke versus range poke.
Which, you know, on one hand, EG with that Baron buff on, obviously going to be getting the regen in there. You've got Darker to offer that healing. But that turret is going to go down. Evil Genius is going to be happy with that one. Will they stick around and try and have that enemy away? I don't think Gambit is strong enough at this point to fight for it.
No, they need to catch somebody off guard. They need Alex to land a very good cocoon, or they need Diamondprox to single out either Jace or Caitlyn, because those are the only two deaths that will help them out. In terms of poke versus poke, Froggen's poke with Jace is splash damage poke, which is why they are winning these engagements. If it hits one target, it splashes to everyone else. Here's the engage from Diamondprox.
Diamond going in here. It's Wicked that was pretty much the focus of that one. EG looking to back away from this one, but you've got to wonder if they're just going to turn it around here at some point. And there we go. EG turning. There's the unstoppable force. He's got 4 of them here. This is bad news for Gambit. Spontake's going to dive into the middle of them. But this damage is all going the way of Evil Geniuses. They've got themselves 2. Flashes coming in for more. Froggen not quite able to finish off Diamond there. There's a shock blast through. Going to hammer down on him and pops the Guardian Angel right next to the fountain. He will see if Genji can escape. Nope. That was an easy one to call. 3 men down there for EG, and it was a 4-man unstoppable force from Wicked that set it up.
For the first time in this game, we see a 4-man unstoppable, basically because Gambit were desperate to make a play. Gambit ran out of time, ran out of pressure, ran out of places to fall back to, and when their backs were against the wall, they threw themselves at Evil Geniuses, and you cannot stop the unstoppable force. EG still has 5. Take down the first Nexus turret, take down the second. They're going to pick up the victory. That's 2-0 EG against Gambit.
Solid victory here for Evil Geniuses, and well, they lost the 1 man there.